So, good afternoon, everybody. My name's John Cheney, and I'm the founder and CEO of Workbooks CRM. We specialise in helping organisations bring their sales and marketing teams together to create revenue success. So I thought I'd start today's presentation by talking a little bit about the I'd like to call it post-COVID world. I don't quite think we're post-COVID yet, but we're certainly operating in a very new environment. The world has definitely changed. It's changed for us as individuals running companies, and it's changed for many of our customers. And the combination of remote working, lots of people working from home, and people working in a hybrid fashion, sometimes in the office and sometimes not, has created a whole new set of challenges for organisations. It's more difficult to share knowledge. There's a lot less informal conversations going on, and it's much more difficult for new starters to learn their jobs and their roles. We're seeing that in our own business, and we're seeing that within our customers. And that, I think, underlines the importance of really effective systems and processes for sales and marketing. And that's fundamentally what today's presentation is going to be talking about. How do we help you align your sales and marketing teams more effectively, and how do you execute sales and marketing strategies more effectively? So there'll be two parts to this presentation. The first part, we're talking about how we align teams. Like I say, it used to be pretty difficult aligning sales and marketing when they worked in the same building. It's now even more of a challenge when they operate in different locations. When we've got them working well together, then what can we do to really improve the performance of those teams? Aligning sales and marketing. Well, I've been in the sales industry for a long time, and I've sat through many sales and marketing meetings that kind of look like this, where the marketing teams are going, we give sales loads of leads, but they never sell anything. And the sales teams are going, these leads are rubbish, they're just the wrong type of leads. Marketing's going, you never give us any feedback, we don't know what happens to these leads. And that's a very common dialogue. We spend most of our time helping organisations improve their execution. And it's quite common when we go and start talking to customers that it's really clear that the sales and marketing teams aren't working well as a combined team. So we often help them focus on that. But why seek alignment? Well, it might sound obvious, but actually there's real economic benefit to having the teams working much more effectively together. Depending on which reports you read, it can be 24% revenue growth, 27% increased profits, probably most importantly, higher customer retention and higher win rates. So getting the teams working well is really fundamental to any successful organisation. In our experience, what's key to this is having a common sales and marketing centric view. Not marketing looking at the number of website conversions they generate or the number of PPC adverts to get clicked on, or sales looking at what sells and what closes through the pipeline, but having a complete end-to-end view that everybody shares as a common organisation. How do we attract customers? How do we move them through the funnel? And ultimately, how do we convert them into successful clients? What's also key to that is clearly defining your ideal customer profile. In the digital world we operate in, it's pretty straightforward to create PPC campaigns and create digital advertising, but it's much more difficult to target the right types of clients. So your starting point needs to be to understand what are the right types of clients for us, where are we going to invest our marketing investment, and what type of audience am I looking to reach. For many organisations that we engage with, when we first start with them, they don't really have a clear understanding of what their ideal customer profile looks like. Now, I'd never suggest you should only ever sell to your ideal customer profile. You'll clearly sell to lots of different types of organisations, but it makes great economic sense to focus your investment in marketing and in sales on the prospects that are most likely to buy from you. The other thing I'd say about defining your ICP is to think about how you shape that definition in a way that's easy to measure. So if your ICP is manufacturing companies that make a particular type of widget and have a particular type of software already, that's very difficult to buy data for. It's very difficult to understand whether that customer meets your ICP without actually speaking to them. Whereas if you can define your profile based on data you can quite easily get, like their revenues, like the industry sectors they work in, like their geographic location, and also by job titles, sales directors, marketing directors, whatever it may be, it will allow you to narrow down your target audience much more effectively and quickly see when a lead arrives, does that lead meet the right kind of profile for you to spend time moving it through the sales process. And lastly, you need a common sales and marketing process, a process that everybody understands, from the person generating the digital campaigns to the person sending the quotes out to the person that ultimately processes the order. A clear step-by-step process that the whole business understands, and we're going to spend a bit of time talking about that. Now, in many ways, sales and marketing isn't rocket science, right? You try some things, you work out what your ideal customer profile is, you execute a campaign, you see whether it worked or whether it didn't, you analyze the results and you apply those learnings and you go back around that circle. And hopefully your marketing improves, your sales improves, everything improves, you try some new things, some things work and some things don't. But you do need a common process that everyone understands. And you need to clearly define the different stages of that process. So marketing understands what they're responsible for, and sales understands what they're responsible for. And ideally, you want clearly defined agreements between both teams. So if marketing generate a lead for sales, how quickly do you expect them to follow it up? Is a day acceptable? Is a week acceptable? Does it need to be within 2 hours? And sales, are they going to provide feedback to marketing on what happened to those leads? And if so, when and in what formats? So again, it works really well when you define key targets, key goals, and key metrics that everybody's bought into. What I'm going to do now is explain how our sales process works at Workbooks. And it's a sales process we implement for many of our clients as well. Now, I should say, this is a sales and marketing process because we start right at the top of the funnel. Now, like many organisations, we do lots of different types of marketing. We do PPC, we do SEO, we do trade shows. So welcome to our marketing activities today. And all of you here in this room will go into the top of our marketing hopper. We don't know right now, I can't tell by looking at you, whether you're likely to buy any technology from us. So what we're going to do is as the leads come in, we're going to scan your badges and we'll know from your badges who you work for, what the type of organisations you work for, and whether those organisations are likely to be a prospect for us. And that's our marketing qualified lead, our MQL, because we know what shape we want our marketing leads to look like. So as we go down our funnel, we go from MQL, where hopefully some of you are today, into what we call sales qualified leads. So the leads the sales team want to accept and actually want to work on. And that's a key handover point between the marketing team and the sales team. At Workbooks, my marketing team is paid on the number of SQLs they generate for sales. They're not paid on the number of leads they generate, they're paid on the number of leads they generate that go into the sales process. So they're focused on ensuring that the marketing leads they're generating are the right shape. Then we have a clear inflection point where it moves from marketing to sales. And at Workbooks, we have an inside sales team, a BDR team, whose job it is to qualify those sales leads into the pipeline. And for us, we use a very simple mnemonic, it's a very common one, called BANTS. Budget, authority, need, timescale, and size. So do we think this customer's got a budget? Do we understand who would potentially sign off making the investment? That's the authority. Do we understand their needs and can we help them with their problems? What's the timescale and what's the size of the deal? Once we understand that information, it moves into our sales pipeline and we start tracking it as a sales deal, and sales are now responsible for it. And hopefully you move from BANTS qualified to engaged to preferred to closed won. That's the ideal flow through our sales pipeline. Now, unfortunately for us, we don't win every single lead that comes in the top of the hopper. So some of them will come out of the pipeline. Now, there are 3 ways out. You can win, but you can also come out of our pipeline because you bought something else. Now, I'd much rather you didn't do that if you are in the buying cycle, but sometimes people don't buy Workbooks, they might buy Salesforce instead. We get a little grumpy about that, but they do. But we mark that as a lost deal. And why that's lost is because they spent their money somewhere else. And we can look at ourselves and go, well, why weren't we appealing enough? Was our sales execution not good enough? Was our pricing strategy not right? Were we not quite the right fit for the organisation? But lost means they bought something else. Whereas qualified out means it came into our pipeline, but it wasn't the right shape. They weren't the right profile of organisation, or they weren't ready to buy just yet. And that's much more useful for marketing, because marketing can look at what that an opportunity was and why it wasn't the right shape today, might be the right shape in the future, or where wasn't the organisation the right shape. So having those clearly defined stages and clearly defined exit points excuse me, allows us to measure our pipeline. And let me give you an example of how important that is. Let's assume we have two organisations, Organisation A and Organisation B, and they both generate 1,000 leads, and from their 1,000 leads they both generate 10 sales. That's 100 to 1 conversion rate. That's not a great conversion rate. But if we look behind that and see what's going in the pipeline, we can see that in Organisation A, their conversion rate from lead to opportunity is 20 to 1. So for every 1,000 leads they generate, excuse me, only 50 make the pipeline. But their sales conversion rate is 5 to 1. So for every sale they process, every 10 they process, they win 2 of them. Conversely, company B have a much better top of the funnel. So their lead to qualified op is 10 to 1, but their sales execution is poor. Excuse me. So in this organisation, we need to focus on the marketing activities, where in Organisation A, we need to focus on the sales activities and work out how we improve those. So really understanding what's going on through the conversion in your pipeline, right from the top of a lead all the way through to a deal, will help you understand where you can improve your execution. Does that all make some sense? Great. Excuse me. Too much talking on our stand today. So let's talk about execution. So as I mentioned, we help lots of companies improving their sales and marketing execution. And what we've done is we've developed this monopoly board, because it looks a bit like a monopoly board, of all the things you could potentially do in a sales and marketing organisation to improve things. And if you contact us at the end, we'll send you this so you can use it internally. But all this is about underpinning revenue growth. And there are 4 quadrants to my monopoly board. On the right-hand side, we've got marketing. At the top of the monopoly board, we've got new business sales. On the right, we've got account management. And on the left, we've got account management. And at the bottom, we've got leadership, sales and marketing leadership. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through this quadrant in a bit more detail and talk about the areas you could potentially improve. Let's start with marketing, the lead generation engine of any business. Now, there are all different types of marketing that you can do. We could be looking at your email marketing, understanding how your conversion rates through email look like, what your open rates looking like, how engaging is your content. But ultimately, what we want to know is your email marketing translating through that pipeline into the sales end of the pipeline? The same is true with digital marketing. It's very easy with Google Analytics, for example, to look at your conversion rates. And you can say, well, my website converts at 3%. That wouldn't be a bad conversion rate from all your traffic. But if that 3% conversion rate doesn't translate into sales, it's the wrong shape of deals. Same is true at events. So no matter what you're doing with your marketing execution, and in each of the marketing areas, there are lots of tools you can use to analyze your open rates, your website conversion rates. GA will do a lot of that. What's your SEO ranking looking like? If you don't tie that into your sales funnel and understand how that converts through the funnel, then your marketing may be brilliant, but it won't be generating sales. So just to tell you a very quick story, when we first launched Workbooks, we hired an external marketing agency to do our marketing. We spent £10,000 a month with them, and they generated a load of leads. But it was quickly apparent they weren't the right shape. And what they were doing is they were advertising for free CRM software. And we don't want it to be free, we quite like people to pay for it. So it was a great example where marketing thought they were generating the right kind of leads, but actually for the business, it really wasn't the right shape. So let's move around the Monopoly board and talk more about new business sales. And that really is where it dovetails with marketing. And that dovetail's really important because from a sales perspective, and if you come and talk to my sales guys on the stand, they really want to understand what was the engagement that the prospects had with the digital marketing that we're doing. So the first thing we can do is we can surface all of the digital engagement inside the CRM platform so the sales teams can see. So in our implementation of Workbooks, if you come to our website tomorrow, we will see what pages you've been looking at, whether you were looking at buying content, so for example our pricing page or some of our implementation page, or maybe you've come onto our recruitment page because you're looking for a job. But we can use that information inside the sales team to begin to understand how best to follow up you as a potential prospect. We can also help the sales team identify which of those prospects might be warmer. But if we're really joining sales marketing up effectively, then we don't just surface the digital engagement, we score it. So as you come to our website, if you do visit our pricing page, you will get a score of 20. If you download one of our white papers, you'll get a score of 10. If you engage with one of our videos, you'll get a score of 5. By the time you reach 35 points, we will automatically create you as a sales opportunity. Based on the industry that you're in, it will appear on the salesperson's dashboard for that sector, and they will hopefully be on the phone to you trying to convince you to talk to us about our CRM technology. So your digital scoring, by combining your CRM platform with all the demographics you've got in there, like industries and organisation size, with the digital footprint that you're seeing from your websites, will allow you to surface potential opportunities that you didn't even know you had to the sales team. And as soon as that starts happening, sales and marketing start realising the power of working together, because marketing's sending out the right content, sales are engaging with it and seeing the fruits of the efforts appearing in their opportunities. Then what we can get sales to do is to start profiling the data in CRM more effectively. So making sure they take the time to capture the industries, capture the interests, capture the job roles of the people they're talking to, and your CRM data then becomes a wealth of data for your marketing team to exploit. And if you combine that on the far left-hand side with sales automation, so things like using a platform to speed up quotations, help the sales guys remember what to do next, all these areas will improve your execution. So I'm a big fan of David Brailsford, and you may not know who that is, but David Brailsford is the guy that reinvented cycling in the UK and created people like Chris Hoy. His whole strategy was about small incremental improvements across the bike, across the training. So there's no big thing that's going to fundamentally transform your sales and marketing. It's all these small changes that you can make that's going to make the difference. And that leads us into account management. Now, for many organisations, the new business teams and the account management teams are sometimes the same people, but for many they're not. And actually the sales account management process, the process of looking after your clients, is a very different business process to the prospecting process. So if you have combined teams, you do need to think about separating out the workflows that you might use for account management. That's really getting to know your accounts, so profiling your accounts in detail, understanding who the key stakeholders are, who the operational stakeholders are, where the gaps are. So if you're a brand at a B2B show like this, you might have 5 or 6 brands that you sell through. Is that prospective customer going to buy from all of your brands? If so, where's the gaps? Which brands aren't they buying from today that you might be able to cross-sell and upsell? But to do that effectively, you've got to know what they've already bought from you. You need the transactional data inside your sales systems to see which products or services they bought, to bring together the 360-degree view of your client into a single platform. But I'd also really recommend you consider implementing account management processes. So again, at Workbooks, every single one of our customers is tiered. We'd like to say we treat all customers the same. We honestly don't. The ones that spend more money with us, we spend a bit more time on. And I think that's true in most businesses. We'd like to think we give great service to all of our clients, but we profile our customers based on two things: how much money they spend with us today, and how much money they could spend with us in the future. In addition to that, we have an account health rating for every single one of our clients: red, amber, or green. Now, in an ideal world, all of my customers have account status of green. They love what we do and they're very happy. But we don't live in an ideal world. Occasionally, we have an unhappy client, or there's been a change of leadership at the company. We don't know the exec stakeholders anymore, or they've hired a new sales director, and that sometimes means they want to review the systems. So our account management team have a set process of reaching out to every single customer on a schedule, typically every 3 months, and we ensure we understand who the stakeholders are, we understand the health of the account. And I have a dashboard in Workbooks that tells me of my customers which percentages are green, which percentages are amber, and which percentages are red. And if they're a tier 1 account and they're red, I know that. I personally know who our tier 1 accounts are that are red. Now, as of today, we don't have any of those, I'm pleased to say, but from time to time we do. But that ability to understand and manage our account base by implementing proactive processes to measure and manage how things are working within customers is really key. And that's a completely different process to prospecting for new customers and joining up your digital marketing with your email marketing, with your new business prospecting. So the last area, and then I'm going to stop talking, is really about leadership and the sales and marketing leadership. Now, you kind of expect every organisation to be doing this well, but in truth, it's difficult, because unless you've got the tools in place to measure what's going on, it's virtually impossible to measure, to improve things you can't measure. So key to all this is having the metrics in place as a leader to understand what are the activity levels, how many phone calls are we making, how many visits are we doing. If your staff are working from home, it's almost impossible to see what they're doing day to day. So having some metrics in your platform that tell you that they're sending emails, they're making phone calls, will help you get a good understanding of what's working and what's not. Sales playbooks. If you've got successful salespeople, and I'm sure you will have, they'll be at different levels. Take the best practice from your best guys and make sure that's followed by everybody. Have a predictable sales process that everyone understands, that you train and you onboard people with. Ideally, bed it in your CRM, so the CRM guides people on how to move to the next step of a sales process. But invest the time in getting those sorts of processes right. And if you do that well, it'll make your sales and forecasting processes much more reliable. But forecasting is important, because if you need to fulfill the products and services that you sell, there's nothing worse than being a customer when you place a large order to be told that you can't have the products or services you're expecting for 5 or 6 weeks because the sales guys didn't really know how many they were going to sell, and therefore there's now a stock problem or a delivery problem. And lastly, make sure you understand all of the metrics. Your lost and qualified out metrics. Why are we losing deals? Why are we qualifying out deals? And feed that back. Look at the lost deals and work out, can we improve our pricing? Is our pricing too expensive? Is our sales execution poor? Or look at the qualified out deals and work out why they came into the funnel in the first place. And if you do all that well, you'll really be able to improve your marketing ROI and understand which marketing works for you and which marketing doesn't. So hopefully that Monopoly board will give you some insights into the areas across your organisation that you can improve things once you've got your teams aligned. So, to summarise all that, define your ICP. Understand what your ideal customer profile looks like and orientate your marketing towards that. It doesn't need to be all your marketing investment, but you want to get the lion's share of your investment out to the audience that's most likely to buy. But you need that ICP definition to be agreed with sales, because the last thing you want to be doing is marketing for free CRM products, and that's not what your sales team wants. Clearly define your sales and marketing processes so that everyone understands the metrics, the KPIs and the conversion rates, and have shared goals. Measure your marketing team on their performance. Sales teams are always measured on their performance. Measure the marketing team on how they're contributing to the sales pipeline. And in every opportunity, review and improve the execution. But what's key to all this, and you might be surprised to hear me say this, is CRM and marketing technology that underpins all of this, right? Because this stuff is difficult if you're running in 3 or 4 different systems. If you've got the data in one platform, it's much easier to measure. If all your marketing metrics are in GA, in your email products, and all your sales metrics in your CRM product, and they don't talk to each other, it's virtually impossible to measure stuff and understand what goes on. So you want that technology to be joined up. So, 1 minute on us. We are a CRM vendor. Our stand is literally just over there. So if you want to chat to us, please come and do so. And the slide I'm most proud of our business is this one. This benchmarks us against Salesforce, Microsoft, Goldmine, SAP, Oracle, all the major CRM vendors. And if you look at the top line of this, we have the highest customer satisfaction rating of any CRM vendor in the world that we compete against. And that's because I like to think we are good at helping our customers deliver the business outcomes that they're looking for. So if you want some help, please come and talk to us. Thank you very much for your time.